Welcome back! Oh, hi, Rosalina. I knew you'd return eventually. Possibly not for the reason that you're thinking of, but please look down at your feet. And this is a giant 16. Yes, 16. It's 2 to the 4th. This number represents the number of power stars you need to access another world. Whether you succeed or fail, just attempting the challenge will show something about your character. Well, Rosalina, I have good and bad news for you. That being that I have no intention of doing any of that right now. I don't exactly know why I said good news, but that's news for you anyway. I am going instead into the library, where Rosalina has mysteriously teleported. Hello.
Let us begin.
Let us begin. I don't know if I actually had to narrate that because I think she said that first. Now, this is where we play Super Mario Galaxy, the visual novel. I'm going to be reading, and I'm going to be failing at reading, and our story begins a very, very long time ago with a young girl. One day, this girl spotted a rusted spaceship holding a small star child. See, I almost made it through the first page without screwing up. Anyway, what is your name? Are you lost? The girl asked the star child. I'm Luma, and I'm waiting for Mama. She's coming for me on a comet. Said the star child, who had been waiting day and night. I guess that's as close as you can get to a pinky swear with a Luma. Don't worry, I'll wait with you, the little girl promised Luma. After nightfall, after nightfall, same thing really, the little girl borrowed her father's telescope and peered into the sky. She looked and looked, but she saw nothing. Hours turned into days, and then years, but still the sky revealed nothing. That's a long time to be waiting. Finally, the little girl sighed and said to the Luma, "If we stay here looking much longer, I'll be an old lady soon." But then she had an idea. "Why don't we go out there and find your mother ourselves?" The little girl and Luma fixed up the rusty spaceship, and the two set sail into the starry sky. And this is how the search for the celestial mother began. How nice. Chapter 2. This is going to continue. I believe I've unlocked all of the chapters for the Rosalina storybook, because I've completed the game before starting this. So I should be able to go, like, right through the end. I want to say more chapters will unlock after you, with every Grand Star, after you beat the, after you unlock the Kitchen Dome, but I'm not completely sure about that. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, Starbits! Days passed with no sight of the comet or even a single planet. Instead, asteroids extended for as far as the eye could see. "If I had known it was going to take this long, I would have packed more jam," said the little girl above the rumble of her belly. Jam. Before they left, she had packed all the essentials: telescope, butterfly net, stuffed bunny, bread, milk, jam, and apricot-flavored tea. But I forgot to bring water. How silly of you. At this, Luma burst into gales of laughter, and the girl began to pout. "As long as I have Starbits, we'll be fine," said Luma. "Want some?" The little girl couldn't stay mad after hearing this. Luma continued to laugh, and the little girl couldn't help but join in. "Alright, maybe just a nibble." Leaning far out into the ship, the pair began to collect Starbits with the girl's net. They almost fell out a few times, but they kept on collecting. The Starbits tasted like honey. And I believe I've alluded to actual real-life Starbits that somebody has manufactured, and I believe they're actually supposed to taste like honey. At least, that's what I remember hearing. Don't take my word for that. Anyway, Chapter 3, The Comet. So, a beam of light pierced through the ship's window. Thinking it was the morning sun, the girl peered through the window, only to find a turquoise blue comet shimmering at her. The little girl shook the sleeping Luma awake and shouted excitedly, "We have to get to that comet!" The pair descended onto the comet and found that it was made of ice. They looked high and low, but Luma's mother was nowhere to be found. Exhausted, the little girl sat down with a flop, utterly unable to take another step. "Look!" Peering down at the icy ground where Luma was pointing, the girl suddenly noticed clusters of Starbits encased in the ice. "Pretty good, huh? Finding Starbits is my specialty," said Luma, beaming. "There's ice here, but it's so warm. I bet there's water here, too." The two decided to stay on the comet for a while. Riding the turquoise comet, the pair continued their search for Luma's mother. Chapter 4, The Dream. One night, the girl dreamed about her own mother. Where are you going? She asked at her mother's retreating back. Without turning, her mother replied, Don't fret, dearest. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always watching over you, like the sun in the day and the moon in the night. A wave of sadness washed over the girl. What about when it rains and I can't see the sun or the moon? Her mother thought for a moment before responding. I will turn into a star in the clouds and wait for your tears to dry. When she awoke, the girl's face was damp with tears. You have starbits in your eyes, said Luma to the girl. Wiping her face, the girl replied, These are tears, not starbits. I'm crying because I'll never see my mother ever again. At this, Luma began to cry too. Mama! Oh, Mama! Wah! I seriously need to brush up on my crying skills, but said nobody ever. The pair traveled through the starry skies, and though they encountered many other comets, not one of them held Luma's mother. Luma was despondent. Now, Luma. The rain clouds won't go away if you keep crying, the girl said, giving Luma a squeeze. I'll give you a present if you stop. The girl closed her eyes and said gently, I'll take care of you. With these words, she felt a small spark in her heart. Chapter 5. Home. The kitchen will go here, and the library will go over there, the girl said busily to herself. We'll put the gate over here. Ever since the girl took Luma under her care, she'd been bustling about at a feverish pace. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it to make a happy home. It turned out that starbits weren't the only things buried in the ice. There were tools and furniture unlike any they had ever seen, and the girl used them to build a home. Looking at the completed house, Luma remarked, Don't you think it's awfully big for just the two of us? With a library, a bedroom, kitchen, fountain, and gate, it was certainly spacious, but still, something seemed to be missing. If only my father, brother, and mother were here, the girl said wistfully. Indeed, the house was too large for its two small residents. That night, clutching her favorite stuffed bunny close to her heart, the girl fell asleep in the starship. Chapter 6. Friends. Then one day, while the girl sat sipping tea, a tiny apricot-colored planet appeared on the horizon. From the planet, another Luma of the same color emerged. Do you two know each other? The girl asked the two Lumas gleefully. Despite the girl's excitement, they seemed uneasy. The two Lumas neither drew close nor backed away from each other. Instead, they just stared. Then one Luma broke the silence. My mama! At once, the apricot Luma parroted back, My mama! My mama! My mama! My mama! The two Lumas began to dance around the girl frantically, and neither showed any sign of stopping. The girl was so charmed by this adorable scene that she couldn't help but laugh, and that's when something very strange happened. Suddenly, more Lumas began to pop out from the apricot planet. They were different colors, but they all shouted the same thing. My mama! My mama! The sight of all the shouting Lumas only made the girl laugh harder. What am I going to do with all these children? Lumas just stared blankly as she doubled over laughing. I guess we'll have to name each and every one of you. Tomorrow, when she had finished naming them all, she would begin moving all of the Lumas into the new house. Chapter 7. The Telescope. After seeing the 100th comet, a sudden thought popped into the girl's head. I wonder if my home planet is still as blue as it was. That's when she remembered her father's telescope. Peeking into the telescope, a tiny blue dot floated into sight. It was smaller than a starbit. How strange! It's so far away, but it feels so close. She twisted the knob of the telescope, and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed very familiar to her. Zooming even closer, a terrace on the hill came into view. I used to go stargazing there when I lived on my home planet. She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up to that hill to look at the stars. She remembered how she and her brother would sled down that hill. She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright and windy days. And... I want to go home! I want to go home right now! The girl burst into tears, and the Lumas didn't know what to do. I want to go home! I want to go back to see my house by the hill. I want to see my mother. The girl was shouting now, her face wet with tears. But I know she's not there. I knew all along that she wasn't there in the sky. Because... She's sleeping under the tree on the hill. The girl's cries echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area. Chapter 8. The Wish. Though usually quite cheery, one day the girl became sad again. Luma drew close and tried to comfort her. Mama, you still have me! And don't be sad about your mama, because she's a part of you. That means she's always close by. It's like me. I love Starbits because they remind me of my mama. No, no, the girl said, unable to stop the tears. A lonely look flickered across Luma's face, but it was soon replaced by a wide grin. I have an idea. I will transform into a comet, a soaring comet that can carry you all on this journey. With that, Luma, trailing bands of white, soared high into the sky and just as quickly started to plummet back down. Kabloom! Kaboom! Kablam! The ground shook and a bright light poured out of the crater that the Luma had created. Come on, I'm doing so well reading without screwing up. The bands of light twisted together to form a comet tail. And then Luma emerged, reborn as a comet. The girl could scarcely believe her eyes. But how? She kept asking. Our destiny as Lumas is to transform into different things, said a red Luma who had suddenly appeared. Stars, comets, planets. We can become all of these things. When I grow up, I want to become a star that makes someone special smile, said the green Luma. A blue Luma chimed in. That Luma turned into a real cutie of a comet, didn't he? All of the Lumas together said, No more crying, Mama! Thank you, said the girl in a whisper as she pulled the Lumas close and hugged them. From that day on, Starbits no longer fell from the girl's eyes. The comet set forth from the girl's home planet, its long tail blazing proudly behind it. Final chapter. Family. With its many Lumas and telescopes, the comet was quite a sight to behold. The girl and the Lumas were proud to call it home. At a welcoming party for a new Luma, the girl gathered everyone in the kitchen and said in a louder voice than usual, Alright, everyone, let's make a cake sprinkled with Starbits. Then it will be a star cake. The Lumas excitedly began to gather the ingredients. As she watched the Lumas scurry about, the girl smiled and thought to herself, This is my family now, and I will stay with them until they're ready to leave the nest. And when they do leave, I'll see them off with a smile. Because that's what makes a mother happiest. That night, when the girl lay down to sleep, a soft light enveloped her and reminded her of the blue planet she once called home. But it would be nice to return home every once in a while, every 100 years, to take a nap in my favorite sleeping nook. The comet carrying the Lumas and the girl continues on its journey to this very day. With more family members in tow than can be counted, it's said that the comet visits the girl's home planet once every 100 years, its proud white tail glittering in the sky. The end. That's all. The story is finished. So that's nice. You can now run around the library area. You can go back and reread the book if you really want to. I think there's a chapter select. Is there a chapter select? There is a chapter select. There's 9 chapters in total. Cool. I'm not going to do that because I just finished reading. that's really all I wanted to do in this video. It's kind of a shame that you can't actually interact with any of these books on the shelf, but then again, I suppose this is Super Mario Galaxy, not the Canalave Library. Anything else? I don't really think so. I hope you all enjoyed that break from my regularly scheduled programming. My name is Dragonite, and I will see you all later.